Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Going within, man is woman, so too woman is man. Logically, it is not acceptable to you, but dialectically, this is what it is. In your blood, there is a woman too, because the life comes into existence with the interaction of opposites. Ovum and sperm, when interact together, life begins. Ovum is feminine, sperm is masculine. So in your veins, the blood that flows is masculine and feminine both. But Aristotle has been followed literally in every way, and that has created many problems for man. And such problems seems to be insoluble. When you say man is man, woman is woman, a man has been taught to be just a man, never to show any feminine traits. Now, the women are excelling in many other fields. We appreciate that, but we do not accept men to be in the same field. Same way, excelling in those fields which are feminine oriented. Man has been taught never to cry because tears are feminine. But the fact is, you are feminine also. Tears clear emotional congestion in an individual, whether it is a male or a female. Women have been taught never to be in any way like male, never to show aggression, never show expression, to always remain passive, receptive. But the reality is something different. The reality is something different. Man needs to be a woman. There are moments when he needs to be soft, receptive. Those are the tender moments, love moments. And there are moments when a woman needs to be expressive, aggressive, and tough. In anger, in defense, in rebellion. If a woman is simply passive, then she will easily be turned into slavery. And this is what had happened because of the Aristotelian logic. A passive woman is bound to become a slave. That is what has happened down the ages. An aggressive man, emphatically aggressive and never tender, is bound to create wars, neurosis in the world, and violence and many things like that. Men have been fighting, continuously fighting, and it seems that man exists on the planet Earth only to fight. 3,000 years of and more than 5,000 wars have been fought. Nobody knows what is true. What is truth? One thing is certain, that man puts his whole energy into war effort. The reason is that man has been taught to be aggressive. He has been taught just to be a man, not to show feminine traits. Woman has been denied her male part that remains suppressed, and at times it surfaces and creates greater disharmony in life. If the masculine and the feminine trait, the symphony between the two is allowed, both in men and women, then we can experience a greater synergy. So no man is whole, no woman is whole. She has been denied her male part. When she was a child, she could not fight with boys. She could not climb up the trees. She had to play with dolls, remain inside the house, and such things are distorted vision. Man is both man and a woman. So is the case with woman. She is both man and a woman. Both are needed to create the real, harmonious human being. Existence is dialectical. Opposites are not only opposites, it is better to use the word complementary. They are not opposite to one another, instead they are complementaries. Both need one another. The positive pole needs a negative pole to manifest. It is the interaction of positive and negative pole with a resistance between the two, a device. The electric current is produced and light is generated. Buddha says to Sariputra, in my world, O Sariputra, in my space, in my time, Sariputra, at the seventh rung of the ladder, in this state of no mind, in this state of samadhi, in this state of nirvana, in this state of enlightenment, he explains all possibilities. Here, because Buddha is talking to Sariputra on Avanti Pindika, in my world, Sariputra, because the master has his own realm, world. He has his own space. He has his time. In my world, Sariputra, in my space, in my time, Sariputra, at the seventh rung of the ladder, in this state of no mind, because this state is no mind, in this state of no mind, in this state of samadhi, in this state of nirvana, enlightenment, form is emptiness. Form is formlessness. It is out of the formless the form comes into existence. Lao Tse says, Tao cannot be expressed into the words. The moment you speak, use the word, it becomes false. The word water is not water that can quench your thirst. The water that is existential, that can quench your thirst, is existential. It is not a word. But you may find, being brought up in Aristotelian logic, that water is water. If you are thirsty and you ask me a glass of water, I can write on a piece of paper a glass of water and give it to you. Can it quench your thirst? The word is not existential, Lao Tse says. Form emerges out of formless. When O woman is sperm interact with one another, there is formlessness. Out of formlessness, form comes into existence. A building designer constructs something, designs something, he contemplates what he is going to create. Nobody knows what is going on in his mind. Out of the emptiness, out of the no mind, he creates a design. The design is converted into a model. The model is being presented for advertisements and for pre-booking of the apartments and things like these. Form is emptiness. Man is woman and woman is man. Opposites, the harmony is the merging of the opposites as complementaries. Man and a woman are complementary to one another. They are merging in a space which is not visible. Opposites are not opposites, O Sariputra. They are interpreting each other. A woman interprets man and man interprets a woman, expresses. They continue to express one another. This you have to understand. Form is formlessness. Formlessness becomes form. Unmanifest becomes manifest at the beginning of the creation, and at the end of life, dissolution, the manifest becomes unmanifest. This is death. The process of manifest becoming and manifest dissolving all its components in its totality is what we know as death. If you do it consciously, it becomes nirvana. They are interpreting each other. They exist through each other. To show this basic insight, Buddha says, he is not saying formless. Formless is a pronoun, is a subject. Formlessness is quality. Form is formlessness, not formless. And this is important. Form is a subject. Formless is a subject. So too, when we say formless is form, we can use the same way. Formlessness is form. Form is formlessness. Unmanifest becomes manifest, and manifest again becomes manifest, becomes unmanifest. They are not different, Sariputra. They are one. The duality only appears to be existing. The two poles of electricity appears to be existing, but they are not opposite to one another. They are complementary. Man and a woman, appearance-wise, looks opposite to one another, but in reality, they are complementary to one another. Emptiness does not differ from form, and form does not differ from emptiness. Whatever is form, that is emptiness. Whatever is emptiness, that is form. Same thing is about feeling, perception, impulses, and consciousness. This is part of Diamond, this is the part of Heart Sutra, Prajna Paramit, Hridayam Sutra, which Buddha gave to Sariputra, which Buddha gave through Sariputra to the entire universe, entire cosmos. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form does not differ from emptiness. Whatever is form, that is emptiness, and whatever is emptiness, that is form. The same is true of feelings, perception, impulses, and consciousness. The entire life, the whole of life, the whole of existence consist of opposites, but only on the surface they are different. You take a piece of coin in your hand. Head is head and tail is tail. If we make a cylinder out of it, coin into a cylinder, where one end is tail and the other end is head. In between the two there is, because of the cylinder, there is a space. Both are connected to one another. Without the coin, without the head end or tail end, the cylinder will not be there. Somewhere the head and tail are merging in a space which is invisible to human eye, which is inconceivable by the human mind. Somewhere or the other, the opposites are meeting. The place where opposites are merging into one another, that is life. Where opposites are meeting, merging into one another, that's where the life begins. To you, the head appears head and tail appears tail. It is true. But you do not have the vision to look into that space where head and tail meet one another, merge into one another and dissolve. These opposites are like two hands. I can oppose them with each other. I can manage a kind of a conflict and a fight between my left hand and the right hand. Right hand is right hand and left hand is left hand, but they are part of the synergistic harmony that I am. Both are part of me, connected to one another by an invisible current. You may call it consciousness, you may call it life, or whatever name, but they are connected to one another. If one hand gets hurt, the other pains. It is true. Within me, the left and the right hand are one, because both of them are driving, getting their nourishment from one source, the blood. The food that I eat, consumed through the mind, which is converted into blood, nourishes my left and the right hand both, my left feet and the right feet, although the two appears to be different. It is the nourishment that the plant, that the roots gather from the flower bed that nourishes both thorn and flowers. Both thorns and flowers, there is no difference between thorn and flower because they are apparently, outwardly they look different, but they are being nourished and nurtured on the same energy. So too, the opposites are being nourished and nurtured by the same energy. The masculine and the feminine in you are being nourished and nurtured by the same energy. That is what exactly is the case. Why is Buddha saying this to Sariputra? Because if you understand this, that the opposites are not opposites, instead they are complementaries, supporting one another. If the one hand is severed, the strength of the other hand will get less. It is the support of the two makes your energy at a top level. Why is Buddha saying this to Sariputra? This is the understanding which Master brings to the seekers. If this becomes part of your understanding, then all worries and all problems will disappear. Then there is no worry. The other day, somebody has sent me a note from Divya Ma. Anybody would come to her and say that she has a problem, she will laugh and laugh and laugh. And they say, I don't see you have a problem. There is no problem. It appears to you to be because of your divided mind. It is because of your logic. It appears to be, but as such there is no problem. Buddha is saying to Sariputra so that he can become a living Buddha. Because if you understand this, your worries will disappear. Then there will be no worry. Life is death, death is life. To be is a way towards not to be, and not to be is a way towards be. This is the same game. Then there is no fear, no problem. With this insight, a great acceptance arises in you. A great acceptance arises in you. And with acceptance, life becomes a benediction. Buddha continues here, O Sariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They are not produced or stopped, not defiled or immaculate, not deficient or complete. Buddha says all dharmas are full of emptiness. That emptiness exists as the very exists as everything's core. That nothingness exists in a tree, that nothingness exists in a rock, that exists in a star too. Now scientists are agreeing. They say that when a star collapses, it becomes a black hole. Nothingness. And that nothingness is not just nothingness. When a star collapses, it disappears into the black hole. Then they said there must be something like a white hole out of which the new stars emerge. Now scientists agree. They say when a star collapses, it becomes a black hole, nothingness. But that nothingness is not just nothingness, it is immensely powerful, very full and overflowing. The concept, the hypothesis of a black hole is of immense value in understanding the message of Buddha. A star exists for millions or trillions of years, but one day it has to die. Everything that is born must dissolve one day. Man exists for 60, 70, 80 years, then what happens? Exhausted, tired, he disappears. He falls back into the original unity, the black hole. So is going to happen to everything sooner or later. The Himalayas will disappear one day. So too earth will disappear one day. So will the sun disappear one day. And when a great star disappears, where does it disappear? It collapses within itself. And that's why it becomes a black hole. This big star collapses within itself. Where does, when a man dies, life disappear too? It dissolves in itself. It is such a big mass. It collapses just as a man walking, as an old man falls on the street and collapses. If you leave the man there, sooner or later the body will disappear, disintegrate into its components, mud into the earth. If you leave it there for many years, then the bones will disappear into the dust as well. The man was there one day walking, living, loving, fighting, and now all has disappeared into a black hole. So does it happen with a star. When a star collapses into itself, it becomes a black hole. It's not that the star dissolves into black hole. It dissolves into itself and becomes a black hole. When a star collapses into itself, it becomes a black hole. Why is it is called black hole? Because now there is no mass, there is only pure emptiness. What Buddha calls shunyata, it is nothing else but pure emptiness. So powerful that if you come under its impact, near it, or in its vicinity, you will be pulled into it. You will be pulled into that emptiness, and you will also collapse and disappear. The space, for a space travel, this is going to be a future problem, because there are many stars which has become black holes. Are you not? And you cannot see it because it is nothing, just absence. You cannot see it. You cannot come across it. If a spaceship comes near it, it will be pulled into it because of the gravitational force. If a spaceship comes within its gravitational force, it will be pulled. Then there is no way to get it out. It is impossible. To find a way to get out of it is impossible. The gravitational pull is so strong that it will simply be pulled in and disappear and collapse. And you will never hear about that spaceship, where it went, what happened to it, what happened to the space travelers. Black hole is very much like the Buddha's concept of emptiness. All forms collapse and disappear into black hole. Then, when they have rested for a long time, they bubble up again. A new star is born. This process goes on, life and death. This goes on. This is the way of the existence. First it becomes manifested, then it becomes tired and goes into unmanifestation. Then again it revives its energy through rest. During the day you work, you are manifested. In the night you enter into a state of unmanifestation. You rest for a certain period of time. Energy is revived through rest, relaxation, and again you become alive. Life goes on like this. Only this much for this morning, as it is the festival of lights. By lighting 1, 2, 3 or many lamps, nothing will happen. The real light comes from within you that will guide your steps along life's roads. Be light unto yourself. Until then, take it and do have a pleasant day.